Glenn Close is an Emmy, Golden Globe, and Tony-winning actress who will need to make a little more room on the mantle now. She's going to be honored this weekend at the American Giving Awards for her work to erase the stigma associated with mental illness. Glenn Close, good morning and congratulations. This is a very personal subject for you. Your sister Jessie was diagnosed with mental illness, but not until her 40s. How did she inspire you to get involved?
She asked me. She asked me to, yeah. And her son, who's also part of our family initiative, was diagnosed, but actually before Jessie. He's schizoaffective, and Jessie's bipolar.
But your sister wasn't diagnosed until her 40s.
No.
I'm wondering what that must have been like for you and your family in the years leading up to that. What did you think about your sister?
Well, the extraordinary thing for me was that we didn't think that maybe it was a question of having a mental disorder of some kind, that it just wasn't in our family vocabulary.
How did it manifest itself, though?
She was always considered kind of the wild one, you know, the irresponsible one, the, you know, oh, what's Jessie up to now, you know, kind of thing. And I think we're lucky that she's still here, frankly.
So how did it get to the point where you sought a diagnosis?
She came up to me one day. We were actually at my parents' house, and she said, I need help. I can't stop thinking about killing myself.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that kind of galvanized me, and we found her help.
So tell me about the group, Bring Change to Mind. What's the idea? What's the goal?
The idea of Bring Change to Mind is basically to start talking openly about mental illness, to know that that recovery is possible. As an actress, I'm very aware of the power of words, and they're scary words. They're like schizophrenia and bipolar illness and a borderline personality, all those where most of us are very ignorant about, and there are a lot of preconceived ideas, a lot of cliches about what it is to have a mental illness. But the fact is that 1 in 4 people are affected in some way by mental illness.
People will hear this story and this conversation and go immediately to your role in Fatal Attraction. They'll think you played somebody, perhaps the most famous woman in the history of film, with a mental illness. Do you look back on that role and wished you'd played it any differently based on what you know now?
Well, the incredible thing about that was back in the 80s, right? And
87.
87, yeah. And I still had no vocabulary for mental illness. So even I did research with 2 psychiatrists, and it never came up that that might be, you know, what was going on. Since then, I have been told that it's, you know, kind of classic behavior for certain disorders. And I think the interesting thing is that people come up to me and she says she's so evil, you know. I think that's kind of how mental illness has been used traditionally in the entertainment world, is for somebody that's violent or evil. But she basically was somebody who was terribly out of control and needed help.
I was interested to read you say that you think Claire Danes on the show Homeland plays it well. That she treats the mental illness the way it ought to be treated by an actress. Why do you say that? What is it about her performance?
Well, I think you know, my sister, who is, you know, has the same thing that Claire's character has, says it's very, very accurate. And the thing that's wonderful is that she's a productive human being. Yeah. You know, I think it's possible for people to have mental illness and be productive and have full lives. And I urge everybody to go to bringchangetomind.org. You know, I think there's more awareness now in this country, especially because there's so many vets coming back from the 2 wars with PTS and traumatic brain injury, and but I think there's still huge stigma around it, and the stigma prevents people from feeling that they can talk openly about it and even seeking help and you know, recovery. Well,
you're certainly helping to change that. I want to end on one lighter note. Tom Brokaw just emailed the control room and said, you owe him a dry cleaning bill. Would you like to explain the story?
Yeah, we were just down at the Kennedy Center Honors, and everybody is just dressed to the nines. And I was sitting next to Tom, and he was making a gesture in one of his fabulous stories, and his red wine spilled over my entire outfit.
But you survived because you were dressed in black.
I was dressed in black.
All right, we're giving him that bill anyway. Tom can be demonstrative. Glenn, congratulations. So good to see you. You can catch the American Giving Awards this Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on NBC.